A very good morning and warm welcome to Standard for your online teaching learning session, Science and Technology Part B. Since we have completed our portion, we are going to revise all the lessons once again. So we begin with lesson number 4, Environmental Management. The following components: ecosystem, a review. What is an ecosystem? We have studied last year, so we'll just have a review. Then environment and ecosystem, the relationship between both. Environment conservation, what it is and why it is necessary. Next we have environment management, how we need to manage the environment, which is one of our social responsibility. And last is biodiversity hotspots, along with the environmental conservation once again. Okay, so let's proceed. So, what is ecosystem? I hope you all remember that ecosystem is formed by the biotic and abiotic factors in the surrounding, in the nature, and the interactions between them. Here, each factor, may it be biotic or abiotic, plays a very important role. We have previously studied biotic is the living and abiotic are the non-living. So, biotic includes your humans, plants, animals, microorganisms, whereas abiotic includes air, water, soil, winds, etc. Okay, so we all are aware that there is an interaction constantly going on between the biotic and the abiotic factors. So this all together forms ecosystem. Eco, I hope you all know, which means environment. Now both the pictures that you can see on your screen are very familiar. The first one, it is the energy flow in an ecosystem, and the second one shows you how the food chain in the environment goes on. The producers are the grass that produce their own food. Then the grasshopper feeds on producer, which is a herbivore. The herbivores are those feed on plants. We have studied. The frog feeds on grasshopper. Snakes feed on frog. And hawk, eagle, they feed on snakes. And last, those that feed on the dead and decaying organisms are known as decomposers, the fungi, the mushrooms, bacteria, etc. Now, after the producers, we also call the herbivores as the primary consumers. Why primary consumers? Because they are the first one that consume the producer. Then secondary consumer, then tertiary consumer, and then final is hawk. Okay, the top predators, you can say. So this is how the food chain in the nature goes on. So here again abiotic factors are included, such as sun and water, and biotic, you can see a number of living organisms. Now we have also studied that any disturbance in the food chain will lead to disturbance in the nature and the environment, and that we personally are witnessing right now. Yes, global warming and the various disease and imbalance in the nature, sudden change of seasons, weather, we all are experiencing very well. The first picture, you have producers. The herbivores feed upon producers, the carnivores feed upon herbivores, then the top predators. And this is how the energy is transformed from one level to another. So am I clear? Now producers are very, very important. Obviously, it is the basic component, or they form the base of any food chain. Then predators also play a very important role, like lion, tiger, and the carnivorous animals. Why? Because they will prevent the overpopulation of herbivores. Now, one more thing I'd like to tell you, if any particular level from the food chain is extinct, becomes extinct, so obviously the other level of organisms will suddenly rise in the nature. And as I told you, there should be balance. each and every living organism on this planet is of some or other importance. Nothing is useless. Okay. Now tell me one thing. You can see your caterpillar, the all type of various insects. Then you can also see this in the other picture, the termites. So don't you ever think that why are these organisms important? What do they do? And usually you find them in filthy, dirty places in the dung. Yes? Have you ever thought? These organisms, students, they clear up the environment. They eat up these dirty things, and this is how they're responsible for cleaning the environment. Now imagine if these insects become extinct. Where will the waste go? It will just keep on piling up. So hence each and every organism is very, very important to us, and all the factors are very important to us. So we need to care for each and every factor present in and around us, may it be biotic, may it be abiotic. Now we need to think upon what? If fallen foliage and forest and dead trees and carcasses in and around villages had not been decomposed for years. Now fallen foliage means the fallen leaves, branches of the plants and the trees in the forest, the dead trees, the trees that might have been uprooted or cut down due to some reasons, and the carcasses means the dead body of an animal, okay, or the leftover after the organs are being removed. So in village or in any surrounding area when human population exists. So if these had not been decomposed for years, then what would have happened? There would be lying unwanted garbage all around. Yes, again the balance of the nature would have lost. So what happens is the decomposition is the solution by which the elements and the molecules whatever are trapped in the bodies of organism which have been dead, okay, can be sent to nature by this. We have studied the body needs to be decomposed properly, otherwise it decays. Yes or no? Now these various components that are there, okay, help in formation of the bodies of plants and animals. Now in previous standard students we have studied how is the human body made up of, what all the constituents it has. Yes. Now if they are not sent back, the cyclic flow of these elements, now we have studied the nitrogen, how it is broken down and then it enters the soil. From the soil the plants gain it, then from the plants the food chain, it goes on by consuming. Yes, so this is how different elements cyclic flow will come to an halt. So only by this decomposition process all these things can be sent back to nature and the surroundings would be clean and clear. Hence the decomposition is very, very essential. Now for decomposition we have also studied what different organisms are required. Usually they are microorganisms. Now if those microorganisms become extinct, again the clearing nature work would be stopped. So again there would be garbage all around and then you know what might happen. So like I said you before, each and every organism, each and every level in the food chain is very, very essential to us. Next, let's think. A bird building nest on a tree feeds upon the fishes in nearby pond. Okay, we all have seen that birds build nest on the tree and they obviously will feed upon the fishes that are there in the nearby pond. So now tell me whether this bird is part of both tree as well as pond ecosystem or just tree or pond. We have studied different types of ecosystems: pond ecosystem, lake ecosystem, aquatic ecosystem. Yes. So the bird is part of both the ecosystems. It feeds on the tree. so even the tree ecosystem, and it feeds upon the fishes in the nearby pond, so it is a part of the pond ecosystem as well. Okay, next. Now you can see a picture of paddy fields. Now we have studied this paddy fields. So this paddy is cultivated on a large scale in various states of South India mostly. Now paddy fields are usually students attacked by grasshoppers. Now if they are attacked, there would be loss of these food grains, and at the same time frogs are also present in large number in the merds of these paddy fields. Okay, why frogs are present? We have seen in the food chain that frogs feed upon the grasshoppers and the snakes. Again, they are also present therein to feed upon their favorite food, that is frogs. Okay, just now previously we saw in the food chain, grasshopper will feed upon the grass, so it is present in the fields. Frog feeds upon the grasshopper, so it is also present there to feed upon grasshopper. And who feeds upon frogs? The snakes. So snakes are also present. So here you will see one food chain being existing. Yes. Now, what will happen if frog population declines all of a sudden? Okay, one member of this food chain, that is frog, what will happen if the population declines all of a sudden? Just think and let me know. Okay, first is, what will be the effect on paddy crop? Now, if grasshopper population rises, the grasshoppers will eat up the paddy fields. Yes, the paddy field hence will be infested with insect pest. Now to kill the grasshopper, the farmers might use insecticides. Now these insecticides will obviously be sprayed somewhat on the grass also, so that will also get infected. Yes. Next, number of which consumers will decline and which will increase. Now, as I told you, any alteration in the food chain is going to get imbalance. Yes, the food chain goes like paddy, grasshoppers, frog and snake, which is very much natural. By any reason, there is decline in number of the frogs, so secondary consumers are declined. Now secondary consumers are your frog. Now due to this decline, now snake which feeds upon frog will also decline. Why? Because they are not getting their food. So maybe due to starvation or any other reason, obviously this is one of the reason, the snakes will decline. And your primary consumers, that is grasshoppers, will increase, as there is no check on their population, there is no control on their population, and they'll start attacking our fields. Now due to this increase, the paddy production will obviously be reduced. Yes or no? Due to this reduced number of snakes, rats and other rodents that feed upon the frog from the neighboring areas would also rise, which are again your secondary consumers. Yes or no? So this is how the grasshoppers number will increase. Clear? Okay. Let's move to the third question. What will be the overall effect on that ecosystem? Now, frogs population is declining. Obviously, first thing that happens is imbalance. Just remember one thing. The first thing that happens when there is disturbance in any food chain, food web, is imbalance of the entire ecosystem. Number of prey and predator population will change and your food chain might come to an end. The grasshoppers will suddenly rise. The frogs, the snakes, they will be no more. So your food chain comes to an end there itself. And any sudden increase or sudden decrease in population of any living organism is harmful to the nature. Clear with this? Okay, good. Let's move to next. Very basic question this is. What is environment? And we all know a very simple definition that we have been just saying since years, that we have studied years ago in school. Everything that is around us is called environment. Us means living organism, okay? Everything. Then we answer trees, mountains, trains, stone, mud, etc. Yes or no? Very correct. That simply means environment. Now, what all is included in environment? It includes physical, chemical, and all other natural factors which surround the living organism. Physical and chemical factors such as air, land, water, soil, these are your physical factors. So, what are the chemical factors? The dissolved oxygen in the water, then the metals that are present in the water, in the atmosphere, the chlorides, the POPs, the pesticides and insecticides that we use. Yes, so whatever these chemical mixtures, chemical constituents are available are the chemical factors and any other natural factors. So this all together is included in the environment. Okay, very clear and very simple. Next, relationship between environment and ecosystem. Now there might be confusion with many students between these two words. Now environment, we have simply seen what it is. It is a collective term for the physical, chemical and the biological factors that surround all the living organisms. Okay, now students, this environment is a very broad concept. Like I said you, these three factors together. Also you can say, like we studied, the condition in our surroundings, right? Now it includes biotic, abiotic, natural and artificial factors as well. Now biotic living, abiotic non-living, natural which is already available in the nature, and artificial is that is created by humans. Clear? Okay. See, I have given you a simple smart art so you get an idea. Natural, we have air, atmosphere, water, land, the living organisms which are naturally present. Artificial, now these artificial environment directly or indirectly affects our natural environment. So examples of artificial environment are farms, fish tanks, the prawn culture that is very much trending. Okay, artificial is just consisting of plants or animal species outside their natural habitat. Okay, when you manually create it. So anyway, it directly indirectly affects our natural environment. So these are the two main types. Let's see what we have next. Factors are biotic and abiotic. Now, the science that deals with the study of interactions between the biotic and the abiotic factors of the environment is called ecology. Let me tell you, when you move to your higher standards, if you choose biology, you might have this subject ecology, or you might also study as a small part of higher studies. Eco means environment. Clear? So whatever deals with the interactions between the biotic and the abiotic factors of the environment, that study is ecology, study of the environment. And here the basic functional unit to study ecology is ecosystem. Now what does ecosystem, students? Again, eco means environment. So ecosystem means a biological community of interacting organisms and their physical environment. Difficult to understand? Okay. Any community or group of living organisms that live in and interact with each other in a specific environment. Let's take example of aquatic ecosystem or marine ecosystem. Now, marine ecosystem, you have fishes, sharks, the very microscopic plants and microscopic animals that you see on the surface of the water. So they all come under the marine ecosystem. Sea, yes. Ocean, yes. Then you have land, that is terrestrial ecosystem. So whatever living organisms are interacting in the aquatic environment or terrestrial, that is land environment, they consist of one particular ecosystem. Clear with the word ecosystem, the definition of environment, the difference between environment and ecosystem? Very good. Next subtopic is environmental balance. Now see students, this lesson will have many subtopics and main topics that we have studied previously. Also the content of that subtopics would have been known to you, but as year passes and your grade passes, you need to understand it in more detail. And it's very simple and logical lesson. You can write it the answers in your own words, you can describe in your own words, but it should have the scientific reasoning. Now, environmental balance. How environmental balance is maintained. So there are various operations that going on in the nature. We have studied the food chain, food web, yes. Then also the natural cycles we have studied previously, like water cycle, yes. We have studied the importance of water cycle. The current season right now we are experiencing the rains, which are very much necessary, yes. Then the carbon cycle, nitrogen cycle, oxygen cycle, etc. These gaseous cycle, and also the various food chains of the ecosystems are very, very essential to balance to maintain the environmental balance. Now, what will happen if there is no carbon cycle, nitrogen cycle, oxygen cycle? Now, these cycles, what they are important for is they continuously keep on cycling or recycling these components so they can be used up by the biotic and the abiotic factors in the environment. Yes or no? So again, if there is imbalance in any of one of the component, for example, if carbon dioxide increases, oxygen is lowered, or vice versa, the survival of living organisms would become difficult. Also, nitrogen we have studied is very, very important. Yes, so these cycles are equally important along with the food chains and the food web. Human existence is totally impossible without the existence of nature. Hence, it is basic responsibility of human being to preserve the nature without disturbing its balance. It is said that we have got this earth planet on lease from our future generations and not as an ancestral property from our ancestors. Hence, we should not forget to conserve it for ourselves and for future generations. Students, you are the future of this planet. Very, very important thing we need to remember is today we are using these natural resources and getting the advantage of it just because of our ancestors. Because our ancestors used these resources very, very rationally, yes, and they did care for each and every natural resource in the environment, and hence it is made available to us. If at all they might have misused, they might have just spent it irrationally, today we might have been lacking water, good air, yes, oxygen, and lot more things. Same, we need to think about our future generations and use this nature and the resources very, very rationally. We need to think and use. We have been studying we should not waste water, we need to plant more trees. Yes, but are we doing so? No. We are more towards the deforestation, we are more towards the development. But development should always be so without harming the nature. Now, very common example I'll be telling you. We all reside in Virar Vasai. We have been experiencing floods every year since 4 to 5 years. Yes or no? And almost every year we are experiencing it at least twice or thrice. Yes, the waters are entering the households, the ground floors, and the roads are being flooded. Yes or no? Yes. We are moving towards the development. We are busy in developing our Vasai Virar, but at the same time, we are forgetting to preserve the natural resources. We have blocked the open, barren lands where the water used to run off and the waterlogging would not take place. But now, all the open, barren lands have been closed. We have constructed huge, tall buildings. So, then from where the water will go? We are not planting more trees, so we are not getting good pure oxygen. Then you have rains that go beyond the season, October, November. Why? Because this is all of because of the global warming. So it is very, very essential for us to understand the importance of these natural resources, preservation, conservation of environment, the nature around us. You give a little to nature, the nature will give you more than what you deserve. Always remember this. So, we are very much responsible to preserve the nature and do not bring any imbalance. Then, environmental conservation, we will start in the next period. Here, we finish for the day. Okay. Thank you so much. I hope the lesson was quite interesting and simple to understand, and lot of things you might have understood at once. Take care, complete your books, keep studying. All the best. Stay happy, stay safe. See you soon. Bye.